Has Dedra Miro met her match in Cyril's mother? Let's find out tonight. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Andor-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Andor, Season 2, Episode 2, Sargrona Tima, and Episode 3, Harvest. Gosh. Yep, we're back. Andor is back, and they came out swinging with the big boys. They're getting it done. Grace and I, we did a breakdown this morning of episode 1, so go check that out. It was a wonderful conversation, deep dive, breakdown, a lot of fun. We're already getting positive comments from that episode, so go check that out if you haven't done that already. But now we're going to try and double up on 2 episodes tonight. It's going to be a longer episode, but I'm going to try and go as quick as possible. We were going to do 1 episode at a time, but we're going to kind of now play it ear by ear every week to see if we can double up at all, but it's a lot of work. We'll figure it out. But let us know in the comments anything about like your views on this episode, and make sure to send in comments in the Discord and voicemails about the show, because there's a lot to discuss, because it's a heavy hitter. Like there's a lot already going on. Can't even keep up with everything. So
Leave comments if we missed anything, and then we'll talk about it. Or send in voicemails the next week.
Yep.
Because we're definitely going to miss stuff. It's just a lot to take in.
Yep. Especially if we're doing 2 episodes, we're going to be going fast. So we're going to try, we'll probably skip over some stuff. But
I was going to say, especially if you have a 3-year-old running around the whole time and you're trying to read it because you can't hear anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I wish I could watch parties.
But we might as well just jump into this. So, episode 1 ended with crap hitting the fan with Cassian. He's getting shot at by that rebel group, and wedding planning is going on, and I call them the crew, like Bix and Will and Brasso. They're just living in an agriculture community, and so
I forgot the guy's name was Will.
Well, it's Will Moore,
I think so,
or something like that, and they just call him Will for short. But yeah, whatever. They just call him Will for short, so that's what we'll call him. So that kind of picks up, and so we're gonna go over the individual storylines one at a time, because it keeps going back and forth between all the different storylines over and over again. So it'd be kind of hard to do it in order, but we'll just do it story by story. So we'll go for episode 2. We're gonna go over the smallest, least amount of scenes. Was the stuff with like Dedra and Cyril, and so they're at the ISB. Dedra and Partagraz, they're entering into the ISB facility, and Dedra stops them like, I don't want to do this Gorman stuff. I want to do access. And Partagraz is like, you've been working on this for 2 years. You haven't made any progress in a while. Like, this Gorman thing, take it. You've been given it to by Director Krennic. Like, don't take that lightly. Take this as a gift and run with it. Like, if you can do well with this, it'll open up more possibilities for you in the future, more resources in the future. So Dedra's not happy about it, but she's like, well, I guess this is what we'll do. And I like how, like, when they stop to talk, Partagraz and Dedra, they're like looking around, making sure no one was listening to their conversation.
Yeah.
Like, they're even like worried to have a private conversation about their job and their roles and responsibilities. So,
well, because they came from being the bosses, and now they're not.
Right, because Partagraz is like, I know you're going to take this as like a demotion, but don't see it like that, because it's like you're getting taken off one job to do another one. It seems like a demotion, but he's like, this is a good thing. Just do what you got to do, and it'll work out for the best in the end. So I was kind of disappointed by that. That like I thought we were gonna get more of this Gorman stuff this arc, but
I mean,
that's like super.
next week we will.
Well, we will, but I'm saying like I've been like they go all out with the Gorman stuff first episode, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna start seeing them on Gorman, starting the
Hmm.
mining and like getting that ready, and but that's fine, whatever. Um, and so then it jumps later on in the episode. It jumps to my boy Cyril Karn,
Is he
and
still your boy?
he's my boy. So he's like got multiple promotions in the last year at the Bureau of Standards, and he is now bringing in a new young kid. Like he's a reversal of roles, like when he got introduced. And dude, if you need a hype man, I don't know. This guy was like really talking up this job to this kid. Like
Yeah.
saw 400 missing whatever liters of fuel, and after X amount of months, I figured this out. I led to all these like rebel. Da, 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 da. And he's like, "There's a lot of promise here if you dare." Yeah, I'm like, this kid's like 19, that's like fresh out of like whatever school, and he's like getting his first job, and Cyril is like telling him to like get all hyped about like Bureau of Standards stuff. I don't know. I just thought
Yeah.
it was super funny because he was super hyped about it, but like no one else cares. But I don't know. I was happy to see him back. Um,
That makes one of us.
and so then later on, it goes to Dedra and her private residence, and she's like listening to Star Wars opera music, which is kind of cool. Never
Yeah.
heard Star Wars opera music before. Sounds
What do
like
you mean? The opera?
you don't hear any opera singing. You just see people dancing in these water
Weird go
thing,
but
whatever
you
that
knew
is.
it existed though.
We don't know. We just call it the opera scene. We don't know what in Revenge is. We don't know what they're actually doing. They're just like swimming around dancing. It's probably a dance thing rather than an opera thing, and we just call it opera because when people dress up
We'll talk
or
about the music because later on, the
oh,
dance party.
yep. Um, but whatever, she's there, and then someone comes in, and it's Cyril. And so the whole thing was like at the end of the season, are they like gonna be like a couple? And I was like, no, they're not gonna be a couple. They're just gonna work on finding Access and Cassian. And right away, they just second episode, they're living together. Like, oh,
I
okay.
told you that.
Well, everyone said that. I'm not. Don't take shots at me. Like you knew better. Like it
Well,
wasn't
they
like
said
a.
it in the panel.
Well, that was a stupid. Why would I don't know why they would spoil that like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but they
But
did.
I thought at least what you told me about in the panel, like, oh, it's going to develop over the whole
That's what
season.
I thought, but I guess it is because like I don't know what's their relationship is weird.
Well,
Like
they
she
fell in
said,
love. Whatever, he
like
saved
it.
her life, and then they have common interests and goals, and
But I
they
think like the entire show, like the way in the panel we're talking about, they're like, yeah, there our relationships like a lot of staring at each other. Like I think that like I don't think there's like we'll see any physicalness. Like it's
that's not
literally
true. People with different personalities have different relationships, and they're
no,
both.
I'm saying in the way she described it on the panel made it seem like that part of the relationship was like how they are. Like
I
it's
don't.
not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like it's an interesting relationship.
Yep,
They're almost like too much the same.
I think that's why they work well because they're very similar in how they approach life, and
Yeah.
that's a good characteristic. I think in I wouldn't know, but if you have common goals and interests, like to like accomplish things in life together, like a certain way, then that works together. But if you're like feels like Cyril and like I don't know
Desra.
Bix, like that's not
Yeah, yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
like jive too well. Um, but so Cyril comes in and they just like, hey, you're back. Yeah, yep, I'm back. It was a short thing. Can't talk about it. And they're basically kind of hinting at like we gotta do this thing, and he's like, "Well, we could just say you're not back yet." Like he wants to cancel, and he's like, "We're not canceling again. We're getting this done." I'm like, "What are they talking about?" Okay, whatever. And so then, um, after that, Was it? Okay, is that all they had? That was all that they had in this episode. Was like that's it. They're planning
The
on
mom was the
something.
second episode
The
or the
third
third?
episode. Yeah,
Oh,
and so I was like, okay,
I watched them back to back, so I saw a little
right.
bit
So
of them.
I'm trying to keep these separate,
Yeah, yeah.
both episodes separate, just so it's easier to do. But like all the stories just continue as one, so it's kind of hard to follow sometimes when you're doing this. But yep. So that's all we got from that arc, or story of whatever. And so we could do the Cassian stuff because there wasn't a lot. Okay, here's the thing. It's called Andor, but this first arc, there was barely these 3 episodes, barely any Andor in it, which is kind of like whatever. I don't mind. This story is great. I don't really care, but like it's just funny that our main character was in the show less than any other story. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Whatever. But we're back on
This whole thing confused the crap out of me, not gonna lie.
what?
That whole Andor stuff.
Why? What was confusing about it?
Like, I was confused on, like, why they're fighting each other. Is it just because there's no leader and one guy wanted to be a leader and the other one didn't? Like,
Because they crash landed, they have no way to get out, and their leader is dead, and they have no supplies, and they're trying to figure out what to
so they're
do.
just fighting each other,
Yeah, because they
right?
don't know what to do. They don't have a leader.
And then Andor is, like, whispering in their ears and kind of getting them confused
Yeah, because
to
he's trying
escape.
to not get killed by these guys.
Yeah.
He has a mission that he's on. But yeah, it's in the middle of the night on this mystery planet that we don't know what at this point in the show. And they are just raining out. We got two people, one person from each side of the group because they like split up during the gunfight at the end of the last episode. And one person's crawling around, the other person's crawling around. The one lady finds just a foot, like a boot and a foot thing, and whatever. They start shooting at each other again to get back. And like, what happened to so and so? I don't know. His body's missing. Well, it got eaten. Well, I found his foot. Blah blah blah. And they're just arguing. And Cassian's like, "Hey, we don't know when it's gonna rain again. You should probably like start collecting drinking water." And like, oh, that makes sense. And so the next scene is like the morning after or whatever, and they're just arguing about food because they have like 8 or 9 portions of food. Some of it's already moldy, and what are we gonna do? The other side, they found these melons
That were,
that,
like, soggy from the rain.
yeah, like, would you eat that or would you eat cantaloupe first?
Cantaloupe.
See, like, it's not that bad
Also,
now.
also, they kind of looked like cantaloupe a little bit.
They were rotten, gross,
Yeah, they
whatever.
were
I don't know what
so
the heck they were.
nasty.
The guy just like put it in his face like to eat it. I'm like, break off a little piece and then try it. You don't got to put your whole face in a half a thing.
Ugh.
And the whole time, these 2 episodes, like, who is that guy from? The guy that put his face with the long hair or whatever.
Yeah, he looked familiar to
He's
me
from
too.
Superstore. He's like the boyfriend of one of the people or something. Like, I looked him up. He was in Superstore. That's where I recognize him from.
Mm,
I don't know. Did you watch Superstore ever?
mm.
Oh, but yeah, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. He's like a low life pothead type guy in that show, and so he's working his way up in his like he's a rebel wannabe leader. But yeah, so that's the
Who
food
probably
thing.
all get eaten.
Yep. They're still arguing later on. They're still arguing about food, but then Andor's like, hey, they've been quiet for a while. Like, what are they up to? Well, what are they up to? They're trying to pivot the TIE fighter thing so that the guns and weapons are aimed at the other group where they're hiding in the crash ship. And they're like, well, there's no way they're going to get there in time. Well, Cassian is like, well, they can move it 5 meters by midnight, and that's enough to be a problem. And like, we gotta do something. And so what do? They just attack the other group so that like they can't work on moving it. And so that happens. And then the rebels decide, all right, we got to figure out what we're going to do. So they both sides are like, all right, let's just talk. let's just put our weapons down. Both sides come together, put their weapons down, and figure out what we're gonna do. And they're like, we're gonna do 5 hands. We're gonna do Roski rules. I'm like, huh? Like, what's going on? And Andor's like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? And he's being guarded by one guy back in the ship, and he's like, well, it's basically whoever wins will rule. I'm like, okay, they're gonna do like a fight, like a brawl. They're gonna fight each other, like hand to hand combat. Whoever wins, what the strongest lead, like Mandalore or whatever. Well, it's the Star Wars version of paper rock scissors, but it's like the one guy was like a snake, like a serpent, or one was like claws, like a bear or lion or something. I thought it was just kind of funny that they're just like going back and forth. It's like
It was so funny.
four people going back. Like, I don't know we don't know the rules, how it works, but they were just going back and forth for a while this is happening. And the one guy that's guarding Cassian, he's distracted by the whole thing. Andor, apparently he knew there was a gun in this compartment. I don't know.
It kind of confused me
That
too
was kind
because
of,
they didn't know it was in there.
I don't know, maybe it, because like Grace and I were
But
talking about last episode, like, did Cassian actually know the Maya Pied guy lady that was like their leader? Like, did he just get that name and then went with it to like pretend that like he knew it? Because we didn't know if he was just playing along or if he actually knew her. But like, if he did know her, then maybe he did know about this ship and would have known about that thing.
so like that part confused me, and then also, um, so the pilot was supposed to be in that same spot.
No, was it Porco? Porco was his contact that he was going to go. It was only supposed to be Porco.
Yes,
These
but
other
he
rebel
was supposed
groups
to
show
land
up.
there.
This other group happens to go at the same spot and they kill Porco.
So was that Porco's ship or that was their ship?
That was their ship. They crash landed, and that's why they can't get off. That's
Where's
why
Porco's house or something?
they killed
Like,
him.
oh, they just killed the dude, but he didn't have a ship or anything.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm confused.
Caleb says, I think that the crash ship was the same one the crew escaped on at the end of the last season.
Yeah, I thought that was his ship, and they just came across his ship and they killed him and took his ship.
I don't.
Because that's how they would make sense why Cassian would know how to land there, and then he thought it looked different.
Well, he knew to land there because he was there 3 days earlier. He had his contact there, Porco. He met with
Yeah,
the.
but what would Porco be in?
I
He
don't
can't just
know.
stay in the woods. So that's why I was thinking that was his ship.
Well, he was
Like he
supposed
was in
to,
that ship,
because Cassian was supposed to hand off
the
the
TIE
TIE
fighter.
fighter to Porco. And so when that happened, I think someone was going to come and pick up Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
So like there might not have been another ship for that Porco got there because Cassian and Porco probably went there together, found a
Mm.
spot to land and hide, and
Yeah, I don't know.
then somehow
It almost made it seem like Cassian knew that how to like function that ship though.
I don't know, it was just that one door,
But he also knew where
cockpit door.
the panel, the uh control panel for communication was because he took that.
I don't know, maybe they
So
tried to
that's why
use
it
it.
made it seem like it was his
I don't know.
question.
I never saw it because I thought they said they crashed their ship, and that's so there's a crash ship there.
Yeah, I know that would make sense, but it made it seem I don't know. It's confusing.
And like well, I wasn't confused until you brought it up. I thought it
Oh
made sense. I wasn't
no, I
confused.
was. That's what I was saying. I was confused the whole time.
He said, plus, wasn't that the gun Cassian had in season 1?
It was.
I don't know. I don't know my Star Wars guns, so I don't know.
Jeremiah only focuses on Star Wars math, you guys.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. All guns look the same to me. I guess he did have that unique like double barrel
Yeah, that
looking
double
thing.
barrel thing.
And
Yeah.
maybe now that Caleb mentions that, it does seem like that could be true. But I don't know. I never.
Because when he pulled up, it seemed like he thought something was off, and he didn't see all those guys, and then they all come out of that ship. So it seemed like he knew that that ship was still supposed to be there, because I don't think he would have landed,
I don't
right?
know. I guess I don't know. Never crossed my mind. But anyway,
I
uh,
don't know. I'm confused too. So I'm not saying you're
but
wrong. I'm just like I was
but
confused.
anyway, Cassian gets the gun, frees himself, and then points the gun at the other guy, like "Don't move, or I'm gonna kill you," type of thing. And so then he grabs the radio, like you mentioned, while everyone out there is doing their rock paper scissors, and he's running through the woods, and then he hears a roar, and then everyone else hears a roar, and I'm like, uh-oh. We're gonna see these beasts that were mentioned in episode 1, and they're just standing there looking, and then out of nowhere this thing comes, and like
It's like a rhino.
giant huge mouth opens up, like huge mouth, just eats like 2 guys. I'm pretty sure it was the 2 guys that were trying to be leader. They just got swallowed up in one moment, like gulp. Like, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So he gets on the ship and shoots one guy that was in the ship, and then gets on and then flies off. And we see that that's Yavin 4.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, interesting that they're doing it, because like last episode, Grace was like, it's kind of weird that they didn't like give us the name of this planet, because they normally do that when we go to a planet. Like, yeah, I was like, well, maybe it's just because it's a hidden secret planet that like people aren't supposed to know about, so that's why like we as an audience kind of play along with that. And like, yeah, that makes sense. Nope, because they just wanted to reveal at the end
Yeah, they just wanted those
of Yavin.
towers.
So that's kind of cool that they
Mhm.
have this spot now. So it's like, does that mean next season we're going to be? I think it's season 4. I think it was season 4 of Rebels is like when we actually go on to Yavin, I think. But like I can't remember.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is very far into.
But it was either it was 3 or 4, because I remember, because it's the first time we see him is the first season that we see Agent Callus. He joined the Rebels. I think that was season 4, because he fought Thrawn, which came in season 3. So yeah, so it's like I wonder like at what point do they go to Yavin as a base in
Because
their
at this
timeline?
point, the rebels aren't. Our rebel crew isn't together,
There's
or they
no
are.
there's no Rebel Alliance yet,
Oh
and
yes.
we'll talk about that after at the end with this next episode. But um, yeah, so yeah, he escapes. So that's the Cassian. This little he finally gets off the planet. Um, we can go over the crew with Bix and Will and Brasso. Um, they're on the planet. It's what's it called? Mina Rao. They're back on there. They go to like this little like kind of like I don't know, it was like kind of like a little like bakery thing. Like you could see them like selling stuff, and they had a little like display case of like awesome bread. Like I don't know, this planet was kind of cool. Like I like the community life that they had there. I like the
It
um
reminded me of The Last of Us.
the Last of Us.
Have you seen the new season yet?
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the whole group in it together, working together, eating together. Like it just felt like a community.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nothing like the Last
I
of
think it's
Us.
also because I'm watching The Last of Us right now, so it's everything is.
Yep. And so I don't know, it was cool. So they're just at this bakery, and they get notified that uh the Imperials are coming. They've been landing, and they've been going to plant to like section by section. And we learned there's at least 800 of these sections around the planet now, because like the biggest
They're
number.
on section 5, right?
No, they're based in 432.
Oh,
The imps
430.
were at 500,
Oh
um,
yeah.
and then
Okay.
now they're coming this way. So um,
So it made it seem like they're like giant fields in groups
Right.
processing.
They're just the planet is a section off by section by section. They each have their own group of silos and harvest machines and stuff like that. And we learn that communication is out, and the Imperials are there to inspect everything. I'm like, okay, and then we learn. Like, I think it was might have been this episode, or I can't remember, or maybe it was next. But they just say like whenever they come for an inspection, they cut off communication so that when they're doing their count, no one can like run off and mess with their count type of thing. So that's going on, and you know,
And this is a year after where we left off.
right, yep. And so it's just kind of small talk of like, next thing like they're just talking about what's going on. The imps show up, and um, there's like a scene where like the lieutenant comes and goes and talks to Bix and like is trying to like talk her up a little bit, blah blah blah. She said, "Well, I got my husband. She wouldn't be approved because he like asked her out on a date, basically. Like,
Yep.
let's go over to town. Like, I had a decent meal. Like, you should join me." Like, "Oh, I got my husband. He wouldn't approve, but he's off planet for a couple days." And I was like, "Oh no, this is not good." And so then Brasso
Surprised
comes
she didn't
by.
say that Brasso was her husband.
Uh, I don't know, but
Maybe that would put his life to risk.
maybe I don't know, but um, yeah. And so then Brasso comes like, "Hey, we're working on this, whatever," and then kind of just diffuses the conversation. He walks off. Um, and then the crew, they get together at like, I think it was like at a bonfire at night, kind of talking about what they're gonna do, and they're just kind of like, "Oh, let's we're kind of worried, but let's kind of get ready. We might have to move, type of thing. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we just gotta be prepared for anything." Just kind of talking about that. Um, and I think that was kind of the main thing, really. And then there's that one little thing, another scene that like Bix was just, she was just sitting outside by herself, just kind of like looking at the sky and like being worried, like what's gonna happen. She's just waiting for Cassian because he should have been back by now, and all that jazz. So yeah, I'm like, okay, crap's gonna hit the fan. We know that, but like, when is it gonna happen? That was kind of like what I was waiting for. But that's all with the crew, and so then that just leaves us with the Mon Mothma arc, which I think is, for me, it was like the most interesting of all these storylines.
100%.
And so they're back on Chandrilla, and Luthen is delivering a secret gift that's wrapped up. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's like, looks like a statue of some sort. And um, he talks with his assistant Clea and is basically like, "Hey, any word yet from Cassian?" And she's like, "Nothing, but I did reach out to Bix, and all communication is shut down. There's an inspection." And Lucy's like, "What kind of inspection?" "I don't know. We don't know what's going on. Communications are down." And she's like, "Well, I can't stay. I gotta leave. I'm just gonna go back to the gallery, and we're gonna get comms there so I can figure out this whole Cassian thing better." And they're like, "Okay, bye," and they part ways. Um, and then later on, let's see. Oh, so while Luthen and Clea are talking, it kind of goes from a further back angle, and Perrin sees those two talking, like, and he's kind of suspicious about it. I'm like, "Oh, this is not good," because Grace and I were talking about like, are people gonna like notice any of these people like talking to each other like secretly off to the side or something? Like, are there gonna be any red flags popping up from people outside the circle? Now, this is when I got worried, like, "Oh, Perrin's gonna spill the beans somehow or bring attention to Luthen and all this stuff." So I was like, "Oh," but Mon Mothma shows up, and Perrin's like accuses Mon of having an affair with Tay because they're like, whatever. He's like, "Well, you see, talk to each other all the time and old childhood friends. Like, I get it, blah blah blah." And
He's the worst, dude.
And Perrin's like, you know, he got drunk last night and he had to be like escorted out. Like, Tay has always been a weak man. And Mon is like, well, like she didn't say anything, but when he walked away, she's like, he is a weak man,
Worried.
isn't he? Like,
Yeah.
because he had to talk the night before. It was like, I got to talk to you about the foundation. Something's going on, and then he gets this comment from Perrin. So Perrin was right to like say that because it makes her think more about what's going on. Um, and that was the end of that scene. And then later on, it jumps to the traditional wedding hike where they're climbing up this mountain together, like for some ceremonial thing at the top. Like, I don't know, it's a cool little like
Wedding's interesting.
the
The
wedding
whole
party, like just the cultural thing of like climbing up the mountain together as a group and all this stuff. And so, um, Mon is talking to Vel, and she's just basically like, yeah, I did this when we were probably the last time anyone's ever done this was when I did this, X amount of years ago. And, they start talking about the whereabouts of Cinta, Vel's lady friend. And she's like, I haven't heard from Cinta. I don't know where she is. If she wanted to be in contact with me, she would. But Luthen knows where she's at. Luthen's putting her on missions or whatever. And, you know, Val is very upset about that whole thing. But there's like, well, what can I do? There's nothing I can do. Um, and then at one of the party events or whatever, later on, Mon and Tay are talking, and Luthen is watching from the distance, like he's just following them from a distance, watching. Oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And we kind of get the information from Tay like what's going on. What the problem is? Like the foundation is going just fine. The shifting money from one account to another is working just fine. There's no problem there. Um, but he's like, I have been losing money. Like there's just all the rebel activity is causing my investments to go down the drain. Like you're shifting your money, Skulden, he's got what he's want. His son's marrying your daughter. Like he's getting what he wants. Luthen's getting what he wants. But what am I getting out of it? I'm losing money. I'm losing investments. And where's my return? Basically, I
mhm.
want to get paid for this type of thing, was implied. And Mon's like freaking out, like, don't worry, we'll set up a meeting next week and we'll take care of you. Like, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. While he's like probably already like intoxicated at this point anyway. Like she's like kind of panicking. Um, and then later on, Luthen, intercepts Mon in a hallway. Like, hey, we need to talk. What's going on with Tay? And
Why is
he's
he so stressed out about it?
because he knows about what they're doing. He's a liability. That's what he's freaking out about. Like if he spills the beans about what they're doing, then his whole operation gets thrown
Oh,
up.
so he was just like mad that he was at the wedding, right? I was kind of confused
No,
by
he's not mad at the wedding. He's mad that because he's their main guy, how they're shifting the money around.
Oh.
Don't you remember from last season
No,
that
I
their
do.
childhood friends, they set up the nonprofit organization
Yes.
to shift the money? Like Mon brought him into the circle. There's only three or four people that know about the Luthen Mon
Mhm.
thing, and so he got brought into the circle. And
He
but
just does
him, huh?
he just doesn't trust him.
Right, because he's always trying to. He was like he's been trying to talk to you all weekend, like going back to. He's always talking to Skulden, like he got drunk
Mhm.
last night, and something's going on, and I saw you talking, last
Yeah.
night or whatever, and like what's going on? And she's like, well, he wants a payment basically, and he's like, well, what's the number? What number did he tell you? Like, how much do we got to pay him
Mhm.
to keep him quiet? And she's like, well, talk to him next week. Like, don't worry about it. He's a childhood friend. Like, I trust him. And he's like, he's being a liability. We got to, take care of this type of thing. And then, like, you hear the uh, glasses, the drink glasses in the other room starting to clang. And I gotta go. I got wedding duties, mother of the bride duties to go or whatever. And at the big fancy dinner hall, Perrin, he's the father of the bride and has to give a traditional
Speech.
speech. And so, like, I don't know. I kind of liked his speech. I don't know. It kind of made sense. Like, the galaxy is going to bring you pain and suffering and anxieties, but underneath all that, there's still going to be joy and fun and dinner parties and all these things, that there's still going to be good experiences. Don't focus on the
Just the
things that
bad.
the bad things. Like, I don't know. I think and then like it goes to Mon and she's like, I remember those days, like when we had fun and had good things going and stuff, but not so much anymore. But I don't know. I like that speech. And that's where like the title, Sagrona Tima, like
Cheers, essentially.
it's kind of like, because I thought it said like, it means like praise, and then like Sagrona is like praise, and then Tima must have meant, I forget what he kind of like said it as, but like, I don't know, praise the wedding or praise this union or culture or something like that. So I don't know, I liked it. It was kind of cool. Oh, and I should say, while all this was happening, Clea does get back to the gallery and tries to radio out. Like, she just does it, whatever. I thought it was cool when she walks in, like all the lights click on and then one at a time and whatever. But so yeah, so she gets back to the gallery doing all this stuff. And then I think that's everything. That's kind of how the Mon Mothma stuff ends with the parent speech. And so
Yep.
that's all the storylines for episode 2. So it was a little more slow paced, not much action, not a lot going on, but it's kind of just like, if this is like a movie, the second act is the slow part. And so then the third episode is where crap hits the fan, as the kids would say, right?
Yep.
And
I just don't understand why if they released it like this, why wouldn't they just release it as one episode? Like, just one long episode? Like, what's the point of separating it?
So it's easier to watch? I don't know. Because not everyone has
to just
2.5 hours to sit down.
Time, I guess. That makes sense. That's a good point. Good point, Jeremiah.
And, they get commissioned for 12 episodes, so they're going to just follow the contract. And so, I don't know. I don't mind it. It makes it easier to do podcast breakdowns when you can do individual episodes and stuff like that. But like, I was thinking like how, Tay is freaking out, Luthen's freaking out, Mon Mothma's worried. I'm like, all they gotta do is this: 3 of them sit down together,
put the booze down,
and sober up with Wesley Andrews coffee and tea. Like, at a big, huge, rich wedding like this, what better way than like to have like some super high quality coffee?
Yeah.
And our sponsor, as always, is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you're having problems shifting money illegally and hiding funds and embezzlement and stuff so you can try and save the galaxy, and you're worried about
Before you get caught, shift some money to Wesley Andrews.
And use our promo code. So take a listen to the commercial break.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRE Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Well, now this brings us to the final act, episode 3, Harvest. And so this was the longest. All these episodes were like, one was 55, one was 47. This was 55, 47. This was 57. And this episode felt really long for me, like in a good way. It kept going. And so, this was some of the most funny things in all of Star Wars happened in this episode, but also some of like the darkest, terrible, worst things in Star Wars have happened in this episode. So it's like, this was a really good episode for me. Like this is going to be like probably of like the final episode of each arc. This is probably going to be like the worst one of the season. Like just with like how I think it's going to get better and better. So like I'm super excited, but, so just
this one is not really family friendly.
Right. And so we'll keep it discussion family friendly as best we can.
Yes.
But again, there's not a lot of Andor stuff in here. So I'll just say, we'll go over the Andor stuff first, kind of before, he meets up with everybody else. But I liked how, so the title screen comes up, Andor comes up with like the, logo with the music.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera is in the outer space, like the stars in the background, but like it pans to the right, which I thought was cool. It's usually up or down in Star Wars, or a ship comes in from the side or something. So it's cool, like seeing them turn.
Different angle.
Yeah, and like you just see a bunch of like bright stars in the distance, and then you just see Cassian's ship floating dead in space. So like, did he run out of fuel already? Like
that's what I thought.
Blah blah blah, but I guess he just wants to like stop, so there's like he doesn't get picked up by any radars if any ships are coming by. Like he's just acting like a asteroid or something powered down. And so he goes to his radio, and he's trying to like.
Well, I think that ship you can't really fly it and be on the radio.
I don't know.
It seems like that ship's very in tuned. Like you got to be in it. Like there's no autopilot.
Maybe. It's probably not built for space travel, really, other than it's probably just like meant for like attacking an attack ship.
Because it's not a.
I don't know what the name of the ship. I don't know if this is like a first time new ship or if we've seen the ship before. I don't know my ships because it's not an advanced TIE fighter. Because I looked that up and that's different.
And it's not the other TIE fighter thing that Thrawn was putting.
No, that's the TIE Defender. That's a completely different
And it's
like it should have been that, but that would have to be a couple arcs away. But the Rebel crew, the Ghost crew, they're the only ones that knew about that project. So, like,
and it's not Vader's ship.
No, Caleb says he thinks the TIE Avenger from Legends.
That would be maybe cool.
That'd be cool.
Either way, Cassian said that in the call. Like he's like, none of us knew.
Like he said, this ship is different than we thought it was going to be. So it's like they knew it was a new ship. That's why they're trying to steal it. But like he didn't realize how advanced it was. Which it was really advanced.
Super advanced. Like if they had their whole crew flying that, they might win they would have won the war too. like that thing was intense and expensive.
Right. And so he does like he tries to like hotwire something. Like I don't understand what he was trying to do. He's pulling out wires to like
I think he was trying to get the radio to go out.
And go out?
Yeah.
Why?
Like he was hooking up the radio system to that machine.
Oh, he needed to hardwire the power into it. Oh, okay.
So he was hardwiring the power to it, and then for some reason, whatever he did made him spin out in circles.
Right. I was like, "What? They don't have a cigarette lighter to plug in, like an adapter for?"
Yeah, it's not. So, which is why he says later, he's like, "Dude, we had no idea. We had no idea what this thing was. I've been upside down for 3 days.
I'm like, you're in space. There's no upside down in space. Like, what does that even mean? Like, but whatever. But okay, now that makes sense. Like, he's had to like hardwire the radio
Yeah.
because I was confused by that. But so then he calls Clea, and she gets the radio, and she answers, and they're kind of like using their coded language. It's like, hey, what's the weather out like there? I need a clearance land or whatever, and like they're trying to keep the language
As
incognito, but then like he gets frustrated and he just starts saying whatever and explaining that crap went down and Porco was dead, like he wasn't there, like I had to leave, I'm still with the ship, like where should I go? She's like, give me a couple minutes, and like mentioned something about the Mina Rao, and she's like, nope, you can't go back there right now, they're on lockdown, they're being inspected, comms are down, you're not gonna be able to comm Bix at all, like you're kind of screwed right now. Well, he doesn't care. He hears that his girlfriend and friends are in danger,
and his droid, which he leaves
and he
anyways.
just turns the radio off, puts in the coordinates, and just heads to Mina Rao. So, all right, cool. And so then he ends up arriving, and then he just goes to them at the end to go fight. So that was that. Let's go over to the Dedra Cyril stuff. This was so funny to me. These scenes are so funny to me. I was laughing so hard. Like, so they're getting ready for like a dinner party thing. I'm like, okay, cool. They're making food. He's cooking.
I
He has
thought
like,
they're gonna have the admiral there.
I didn't know who it was gonna be. I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe Partigraz, but like that didn't make sense because like they're like delaying this meal. Like they've canceled multiple times. Like we learned last episode. Like who else would they have? I'm like, who are they trying to like chat up to like get information from? Because I thought, okay, they're trying to find Cassian, so they're trying to do access stuff, so like all that stuff. And they're doing a dinner party, getting ready, setting the table, and he walks by the dinner table and looks down and like stares at it like panicking, and there's like
Fixes a
one
fork.
little thing is off by like
God.
1 degree, and he fixes it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Whatever, I don't care. I'd probably do the same thing. Dedra, she's like looking at different, outfits. I'm like, this is a weird vibe from Dedra, and like we see a different side of her. And I'm like, I like Dedra from last season. I think she's a really cool character. Like what she's portraying as, like it's a really cool character. But like seeing her do this, I'm like, okay, there's more than meets the eye with Dedra. And the doorbell rings, and like when Cyril goes to the door, I'm like, oh, it's his mother, isn't it?
Oh, you knew?
I when he went to go to the door, I'm like, oh, he's going to answer it. So it's probably someone he knows. Or who's the only person he knows? And who would like make
That's
this
fair.
dinner
Good
party
point.
like terrible? Would be his mother. So she comes in, and I thought it was super funny. She comes in, turns a corner, sees
Most
Dedra.
awkward thing of all time.
Dedra goes to like shake her hand, and the mom doesn't even acknowledge. And the mom is like, you don't look the way I thought you looked. Like, I didn't think my son could get you that kind of woman. Like, I don't know what she was thinking. Like,
Wait, well, that's the best part about it.
what?
Is when she's like, "You didn't ask me what you thought I was thinking you
Oh, yeah.
looked like."
The whole time, Cyril is just like making comments in the background, kind of like, I don't know. It's just super awkward and funny and frustrating.
It's like, it felt like when you meet your girlfriend's dad for the first time. Like it had that.
Yeah, how'd
kind of
that go?
feel.
You want to tell that story at all on there? When you met
I
Stephanie's
remember
parents?
it was not. It was kind of like this, like pretty awkward.
So, like, yeah, I wondered this. So, in this relationship, like, whose idea it was to have this dinner in the first place, or was it just
It seemed like
Cyril's
her
mom over and
idea.
over and over again bugging
I
him?
Probably that too.
But like, why would he tell her that he has a girlfriend, or where did he? I was like, he could just say, "Oh, I got a promotion and I got my own apartment by myself," blah blah blah, and leave it at that. But like, I don't
Because
know.
she would have want to go see the apartment.
maybe, I don't know. But like, I don't know. I thought it was just, why is this happening? Why did he allow this to happen? And so they go to have dinner, and she's making a mess with the fondue thing, like, and she was like, "Mother, you're spilling all over the place." It's fine. I don't know. This was just super funny.
It's so awkward.
And they just start bickering, and she's just insulting her son in front of this woman, but like trying to make it like she's the best mom ever, and she's super annoyed. And then it cuts to like dessert time when they have like this fancy cake, and she's just like chopping and mushing the cake. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's people that do that. Like they take their dessert and they kind of like mix it around, or whatever, rather than like, I think I've done that before with certain meals. Like I just kind of mix it all together in this. But she's just like super loud, clanging, and like
She's like making a point.
and Cyril is like, "Excuse me, I gotta go," and he goes away. I'm like, this is it.
Well, because she says that like his baking was horrible, essentially.
Huh? I don't remember.
Yeah, she was
That.
making fun of the cake and said like this tastes bad
I don't
or
remember.
it's hard. You don't remember that part?
I don't remember.
That's he got upset because of the way she was acting.
Well, he was upset the whole time because of how.
Well, he's just
but so
embarrassed of his mother.
he leaves, and
He's just laid on the bed, dude. That's
So-
like the most stupidest part.
so it's just Dedra
Oh.
and his mom sitting there, and I'm like, this is it. Who's gonna win? Is Dedra gonna put this woman in her place? And she did. She basically gave her a lecture, like blah 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 blah. Like, I will put this kid in line. Basically, I'm gonna make you happy. He'll come over to your place twice a week and call you once a month or something like that. And this is what it is. And the mom tries to like say something like, "No, I'm not done." Like,
And you're not gonna insult him anymore.
right. And she's like, "I can take care of him. Like, don't worry. You don't need to worry. Like, I got this." And then later on, it cuts to him just laying dead on the couch. I laughed so loud when that scene happened. He was just like, "I hate my life. I'm so miserable right now." And the thing is, like, this apartment is just like a donut shaped thing.
It's
Like,
just a circle. Like there's no way
he's
he
not
could've
hiding
cared.
anywhere.
Yeah.
He's just like
That's
around the
what
corner.
makes it so horrible, which is why, like, for me, I hate this dude so much. Like,
Why do you hate him so much? It's just funny. What? You're coughing up a storm.
1 second.
Oh, he's dying over there.
It's just because he's such a baby. I don't know, like, dude.
Dude, if your mom talked to you like that and treated
Dude.
you like that, you would hate it too.
I wouldn't let her talk to me like that. So there's a difference. My mom, or let's say Stephanie, would have done what she did, but like in front of me. And
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
have got
a lot of people would just want to remove themselves from the conversation situation and just take a deep breath and like regather those thoughts. But like, he was just so miserable, and I love that him just laying. Like, it wasn't like he was just like laying on his back with his hands by his head. Like, he was like,
no, he was like, ooh,
it's like he was like walking and then like
fell.
passed out and just fell in like a weird awkward position, and he's just
It
like
was weird, dude. It was.
So then, but did he fell asleep though, didn't he?
No, he was just laying there with his eyes open.
But I feel like he fell asleep because when he got up, like the two ladies, they're talking like normal quotation marks.
No,
Like he's surprised by it.
He just got up because he could hear that they were talking normal. So then he thought.
But like
I think he thought that it happened the way he wanted her to do that. Like me, he's like,
right.
Oh, maybe that actually happened.
But he just seemed surprised when they were having a regular conversation. Like he was like, why are they talking normally? Like he fell asleep for like a half hour.
I don't think he fell asleep. I really think that was the entire scene. I think he was just laying down there, and then he heard that they talked normal, and then he decided to get up.
I don't know, because it was like the scene was cut, so it's like the conversation, because he leaves, they have the conversation, and a bunch of other stuff happens in the episode, and then it goes to him laying in the bed, and he wakes up. So there's like a time jump in a sense, of at least sometimes. So it's like
because they had the same cake, and then she said, "I'm going to get you more cake." Because that was like another point to that whole conversation. Because she was complaining about the cake, And then she was like, when he came back, she said, "I'm gonna get you more dessert."
That means that they both finished their cake then. So that's
but
how
it
long it took.
also no, but it also means, shut up, you're gonna eat this because I'm putting it in front of you. That's what that meant.
Maybe.
Like, I won the war. No, you're gonna eat my cake, and I don't care that you're gonna complain about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you fall asleep. That honestly makes it worse if he fell asleep. That just means he was just
I don't know.
such a baby. He could
I
have
just
handled his
love his
own
character so
mother.
much.
I don't know how. I don't understand.
Because it's a good written character. Like, you don't have to like. It's like Palpatine is evil, but he's the most evil person in all the galaxy. But we still like his character. He's a well written
So
character.
you
I think
like him because
it's a well written character.
Okay,
It's
no,
super
you're right. You're
well
right.
written.
You're fine.
Like, it's just an interesting.
He's so well written. He's supposed to bother me, and he does.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like, that's why he's so great.
Oh,
We've been over this a million times. Come on.
probably. It's been 2 years. I gotta refresh. I just
Two
hate
and a
him so
half
much,
years now.
but he's so well done. I'm supposed to hate him.
Right. But like, I love
So
that.
do you hate
I
him?
love that.
But see, I don't think you actually hate him. I think you just
I have
love
nothing
him.
against him. There's nothing about him to hate. He's just his personality. I think I have more in common with him than I do with most characters in Star Wars. So
probably.
it's like he gets me, Drew. I would have straightened the
You probably would
Civil
have
War
done this.
too.
You would have went into your room. But I don't think your mother would act like that because I know your mom.
No, because my mom gets along with everybody. Everyone loves my mom. Like,
yeah.
Like, there would never be that problem with if I had a girlfriend to introduce her. Like, my mom would love whoever I bring home, whatever to her, but whatever. And so that storyline is done for this episode. So we'll go to the Mon Mothma stuff. So Luthen and Mon Mothma, I have in my notes that they talk again. I don't remember what they talked about first in this episode. So they talk, whatever.
Luthen and Mon, I think they just talked about the price again.
That's probably what it was. Just kind of more like...
Do you have written down that that statue was revealed, or is that later on in the episode?
That is later on in the episode.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But right after that, it goes to...
oh, no, I know what it was. Luthen was telling Mon that what's-her-name went back because something happened.
Clea?
Yeah.
The assistant? But she would have known that from last episode, though. Because that all happened last episode. I don't know.
Well, she left last episode, but I don't think they talked before she left. Because it was like the next morning, remember?
Well, right, but this is the whole next day, so she would have known that Clea left. She wouldn't have seen her for like a whole 24 hours, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So they had a conversation, whatever, I can't remember. Go back and listen to it, watch it. But then it jumps to Mon Mothma talking to her daughter Lita just before the wedding ceremony, and Lita comes in her nice wedding dress, and they kind of have this moment where like, oh, I think I snagged it, but I stopped in time, and Mom checks it, and she's like, nope, I think it's good, you're good, no problem at all.
This part's so sad.
And this Mon Mothma is just like, you know, when I was in the situation, my mother was drunk in this conversation, and, you know, I'm happy I'm not like that, but I can tell you what my mom didn't tell me, because...
What I wish my mom would have told me.
Yeah. And she's like, everything out on the other side of that door is meaningless. All the people, all this, everything going on, the ceremony, it's all meaningless. It doesn't matter. Like, if you want to, in this moment, call off the wedding, you can, to say that this is too early. I'm too young for this. And I didn't like how this played out, because last episode, or the first episode, we get the mom-daughter moment where, like, this was like a great moment between Mon Mothma and her daughter. Like, Mom was able to like console her about this crazy child wedding thing, and Grace and I were talking about, like, we love that scene of her, like, apologizing and having compassion for her daughter, and they had a moment. So I thought in this moment, no matter what Lita was going to decide after being said, you can call it off, I thought Lita was going to have
compassion for her mother.
a moment of respect for her mother. Because, like, okay, we know the wedding happens. We see it in the trailer. There's the dance. Like, we know Lita's going to go through with it. But I thought she was going to say something like, "Thank you, mother, but I want this." I thought it was going to be,
or like
something like that, where she's like, "I see what you're saying, Mom. I get it. I'm old enough to understand. I'm not a child like the boy I'm about to marry. Like, I get it, but I believe in this." Like, because, like, she's all about the traditions. Like, we get that last season, and so I thought she's like, I'm okay with this, Mom. But then she says, "I wish you were drunk too," like, to lie to me, which it still shows that Lita acknowledges that her mother is right. She just doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So,
well, it shows that I think it's the common thing where you're young and you want to be adult. Like you want to get married and be a grown up. And so she got scared the first episode, and she realized that the person she's about to marry doesn't want that and still wants to be a kid and doesn't want to be a grown up. So then
right.
when her mom was telling her, like, "Hey, you don't have to do this. None of this matters. Like, let's not do this." She was like, "I don't need that support from you. I need you to be next to me and tell me it's okay."
Right.
So, because she's already hesitant about it. So I kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's sad.
It was a sad moment. I felt bad for Mon in that moment, but
And then when mom's like, "Get behind me."
like, she's like, "Fine, you don't want a compassionate mother. I'm going to be a strict
drunk
mother. Get behind me. The mother is supposed to go out first. I'm going to have my moment," type of thing. I'm going to do the duty that I'm supposed to do. That's what you want me to do. So they go out there and then they have this Chandrillan wedding, which was kind of cool. I don't know. I think
interesting.
Western marriages
Also,
are
like, all of a sudden they weren't speaking basic.
right. They have the Chandrillan language, yeah, which is
So,
expected. And so, I don't know. I thought it was a cool, interesting ceremony where, like, everyone's walking around the circle, and they have the circle, and he invites the bride into the circle, and then the father of the bride gives a knife, and he's like,
I honestly was thinking that the kid was gonna stab mom's. Like,
stab who?
Like, okay, so I remember in the trailer that they're dancing, but, like, for some reason when he got the knife, I'm like, dude, this kid is so dumb. Like, what if he just stabbed the daughter? And then, like,
what the heck?
But then I was like, wait, all the dances coming to her mind.
Right. So
imagine though.
No, I'm not gonna imagine that because that doesn't even cross my mind. So, like, the dad gives the knife to the kid. The kid's like, "I will never give this back to you," implying, like, if you give the knife back, it's a divorce type of thing.
Yeah.
And so then the father's like, "Do with it as you will, or do with it whatever you want." So then he walks up to Lita and grabs her Jedi braid, in a sense,
Cut it off.
Cuts her braid off, and I guess that's the ceremony. Like, that instead of a kiss, she's like, I'm assuming, like, maybe the braids are like a
because one was shorter, and I was noticing that the entire time.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a sign of, like, those braids are like a thing that only girls, like children, unmarried girls, have, are those braids, and then when you cut one off, that means you're a married woman and you're taken, type of thing.
Well, no, one was cut the entire time.
Well, yeah, she had two, and he cut one.
Yes, but the other one was already cut. So I think one is like to show that you're engaged or you're gonna get married.
I didn't notice.
And then at the end, he cut the other one to, like, line it up.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I didn't notice that, but either way, they're married, and I thought it was an interesting ceremony. I think Western weddings are so boring. I don't know. We're just used to the
Only
one kind of
boring because
wedding,
you're like used to it, you know.
but it's just like, I don't know. Non-Western weddings, I feel like have more of like a ceremonial, like cultural thing, where Western weddings are just routine. I don't know.
I had 2 weddings.
That is true because of a intercultural
And
marriage.
I liked my other wedding more than
The
my.
American wedding better.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? You liked the
No.
Hmong wedding better?
Yeah.
I have never been to a Hmong wedding before. I don't know. Do they have
You would
like
not like it.
do they have guests, or is it only like a
Yeah, we had
family?
like 300 people in a 4-bedroom house. I
Okay.
really liked it because I didn't have to pay for it, but and I got half a pig at the end of it,
Oh,
so that was cool.
that pig's long gone.
Yeah, she is.
um,
10 years ago. I hope I don't have that. It'd be frostbitten. If I still had that from
Oh.
10 years ago.
in a deep freezer.
Yeah.
So yeah, the wedding's done. Later on in the episode, it jumps to like the son or the couple gets introduced. Like they come into the ballroom where all the guests are, because the wedding itself had limited people in it. But they get introduced and whatever, and then we get the statue reveal that Luthen brought as a gift to Skulden, and kind of cool story. I don't even know if like this was. I remember like because he mentions the Rakatan Empire. Like Andrew in the EU episodes like talked about the Rakatan. I wonder if like them attacking Chandrila was ever in. I can't remember, but like they had these 12 statues from 25,000 years ago. Rakatan invaders come in, steal them all, and only 8 have been found. Only 5 are back on Chandrila, and then Luthen tracks down this 9th one, and so Skulden, he buys this thing. Who knows how much it cost? That was millions and millions of dollars, and gives it as a gift to
Millions
the
of credits.
the bride and groom as a wedding gift. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And so then later on, uh, Luthen is just talking with some random guy, and I feel like it was like a really random conversation with this random guy about like he's like half Chandrilan, half from Naboo,
Yeah, I didn't really understand that.
and like I feel like that guy is gonna come back as
There
like
was a meaning behind it, but I was just like
because what happens is,
confused
and
on
then
what
Tay
was.
walks by and bumps into him. But I'm
Yeah.
like, they could have done Tay bumping into someone a lot differently. But
I think that guy was a spy.
I don't know. I think Luthen's trying to recruit him. Maybe I think he knows who that guy is, because like all those conversations that Luthen's having, he's trying to use it to his advantage. Like with first episode when he's talking to that one kid from like, oh, you're at Imperial Academy on whatever planet, and like, oh yeah, but we're all getting moved. And it's like, oh, where are you all moving to? Like
Mm-hmm.
these conversations are all about like getting information. I feel like that conversation was something that like he was seeking out with that individual. And I think we're going to see him again.
I think
Maybe.
so
I don't
too.
know. But when they're having this conversation, Tay
We
walks
wouldn't
by.
have got it if it, the
Right.
way it ended, or like the way Tay bumped into him. I don't think we wouldn't.
Yes. So Tay
It was important.
bumps into him, and Tay's super drunk, and he ends up talking with Mon again. And it's just kind of like this. He's drunk and he's just saying way too much stuff. Like he's like, "Yeah, I've been talking with Skulden on a regular basis, and like he always makes sense to me with how he talks and his ideas, and you know, he's just Mon Mothma's just listening and getting super worried. Like you shouldn't be talking to this scumbag because like she thinks that Skulden is just like a dirtbag. He's a corrupt guy, blah blah blah, and already knows Tay is on the verge of who knows what,
Flipping.
and so like."
I think Mon's going to end up killing him.
No, he gets Luthen does it at the end of this episode. Cinta takes him.
Oh, that's what happened.
You didn't catch that?
Nope.
You didn't catch that with Cinta?
Well, no, I knew it was her, but I was so confused, like why he took her.
Yeah, Luthen is having him killed. Spoilers for later on in the episode, but
that
yeah,
is confirmed. And then Mon's
so
gonna go. No.
so Mon Mothma, she's super worried about this when Tay leaves. He's like, I'm leaving, I'm gotta go home, blah blah blah. And some of the dancing is starting. Okay, blah blah blah. And Mon Mothma and Luthen start talking later, and they're arguing about it. And Luthen kind of does like a very vague threat, and she's like, "I don't know what you're implying. I don't know what that means." And he's like, "Well, I'm happy you don't know what I mean. Like you're being naive. Like it's good that you don't know what I'm actually gonna do." And then that clicks of like, "Oh, you want her dead, or him dead," and then that's when the DJ droid comes in, the disco ball droid, and playing the dance music, which so this is really confusing to me. So we hear this song in season 1 when he's on Neamos, like the beach, like where he's like partying, like living his best life. You hear this beach music, this song. It's called he's on Neamos, but then they're singing, the crowd, they're dancing to this thing, and they yell out Neamos at the end. So it's the name of the song also, but it's also the name of a planet. So like, is the song about the planet Neamos as like a rich, like, I don't know, someone's writing a song about
I
some
totally
like.
forgot that was in the first season.
Come on, dude! You have one job. You gotta know these stuff.
Well, I didn't watch it all of it again like I wanted to.
I thought you watched it like
No, I
a
watched
couple
up
months
to
ago.
the swimming part.
Then you couldn't do it anymore. Is
No,
that
I
what you're telling me?
just didn't have time to do it.
But whatever. So they had this dance music, and it's going on for the rest of the episode of like
Just dance music.
the dance music.
Well,
It's
and then
like,
Mon, like her daughter's sister or mother-in-law, like they take shots together.
oh yeah, I'm getting there. So yeah, so
Oh.
then she's super. So Mon gets what's going on with Luthen, like what he's
Yeah,
gonna do.
she's like tearing
She just
up.
accepts it. So that's why she takes those drinks over and over again when she gets drunk, because she's trying to realize my best friend from growing up, who I've been working with, who's been helping me out, is going to be dead. And so she gets drunk and she joins the Chandrillan dancing. And I'm telling you right now, if Genevieve O'Reilly does not win an Emmy for Best Supporting Actress with this show, because when she's dancing, like the look on her face of like sadness, but she's like excitingly dancing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's so good.
No,
Genevieve
it
O'Reilly,
seems,
if you're listening,
seems so cool.
you're so good at what you do. I hope you win an Emmy for this, because I was just blown away this whole episode of like your emotion and how you're just doing all this crazy fun dancing, but then you have this sad face. And like, I don't know. I was just loving this scene. I thought it was
She's
amazing.
a beast, bro.
Like, if she doesn't win an Emmy, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like write an angry email or something to the Emmys. I'm like, hey, you dropped the ball on this one. I don't know.
They dropped
So
a lot, but...
hashtag give it to Genevieve. That's our new hashtag.
Ooh, I like it. Because our first hashtag worked, so.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yep. And so while all the dancing is happening, Tay, he's leaving. He goes to the chauffeur to get shuttled to his vehicle or whatever. And Cinta is the chauffeur driver. And he's like, oh, where's so and so? Oh, we get the shift change. I just got here. Sorry, blah blah blah. And Vel was nearby and saw Cinta. And they made eye contact. This is probably the first time she's seen Cinta in a year since season 1. And she realizes what's happening. Oh, Tay is about to die. And so then Tay gets in the car, Cinta drives off, and then later on we just see them flying through the mountains. Like,
the car.
Like, I thought we were going to get a thing where like Tay was going to be like looking out the window like, hey, no, you're supposed to go that way. I thought like he was going to do that, but I don't know. So
He was also kind of drunk.
he was very drunk.
Not very. He
So
wasn't stumbling.
he bumped into a guy like 2 minutes earlier, and like,
True, but
but
he had a DD, so it's all good.
designated driver. I was like, I don't
I
know
was-
I had to think for a second. But yes, so that happens, and that's the last of.
Well,
That's the
and then
last
you
of it.
get her later towards the end of the episode,
Oh,
like sitting,
Vel, she's just mourning,
crying.
which is kind of
Her.
weird. Like, is she mad? Is she sad that she can't have Cinta, or is it sad that Luthen is making Cinta kill this guy?
Both.
Both. Everything, the whole situation.
I think it's the whole thing.
She was also
'cause-
sad the whole arc, just seeing a child marriage. Like, she was not happy about it.
Well, it was that, and then she was also sad that Luthen was there. She was mad that he was there the whole time
Yep.
because he took away her partner. And
Yep.
so it was just all a lot of emotion.
Yep.
And the music was so loud, and like
Yeah.
so.
And it's like, speaking of the music, so like Grace and I were kind of talking about it first episode about like, you know, you got Mon Mothma who's rich and affluent and safe all the time, where you got like people like Cassian and everyone. They're like boots on the ground. They're always in danger. They're
They're
giving their lives.
starving as
Starving.
like she's like picking, or like they're all like picking out like really nice food and stuff.
Right. And so like both this music like going back and forth between like the ending of like the crew, like the group of people escaping, and then her dancing. It's the same music, and like it shows like both sides, even though they're in very different environments and situations, they're all still suffering. People are all still dying. Like
Yeah.
Brasso, he gets shot and killed, but Tay is getting killed too. Like
Mm-hmm.
people on both sides, no matter where you're at on the spectrum, like you're getting screwed over by the Empire and trying to fight them, and there's no one safe, and
And Serial's talking to his mom.
he's suffering the most of everybody.
So we have Serial over there.
So I just thought, and then there's like the same music is playing through it all. So it's like the chaos of the music. He seemed like it was just like everything's happening at the same time. Everyone's experiencing the same music in a sense, like pretending to have fun when they're not.
It was pretty well done. The flash around towards the end. I kept thinking it was going to end, and it just kept going.
Oh, like following Mon dancing, you mean?
No, it was like Mon, and then it would go to...
Oh, the back and forth between...
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, so it's just like...
super good. Like an ending to a movie.
Almost, yeah. To a open-ended cliffhanger of a movie. There's more to come. 3 more movies. Mm-hmm. Well, 4 if you want to put Rogue One, and then...
Well, and then you have to do 4.
Then 4, 5, and 6. And then 7, 8, 9, because that's just chronological, right? But yeah, so that's the Mon Mothma stuff. So the last thing is just, you know, our crew, what's happening on Mina Rao. So first part of them is just they're, as a community, they're sitting down, eating dinner, like eating fresh baked bread. And I felt like they were making like soup bowls or whatever. It's like bread bowls, like eating soup, eating stew, eating bread. Like everyone's just happy. Everyone's just having fun. I'm like, this is a nice community. Like maybe I need to move and do that. I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
It was a potluck.
It's potluck. Yep. And
Jeremiah loves a good potluck.
I haven't had a potluck in forever, dude. I can't even remember.
Really?
The last time I've been to a potluck. Like probably pre-COVID, dude.
Really?
Yeah. When would I have a potluck?
Well, that funeral was kind of a potluck. The one that we went to. That's probably like the closest to a potluck.
That wasn't a potluck at all. That was just, they had sandwiches and chips and water, but funeral food. But like, whatever. So the community's rest all having fun. the one guy, the I think he's the dad of Bila, the girlfriend. I can't think it was implying, but like he's like kind of one of the main leaders or something of that community. He comes back and he's like, inspection is coming. They just finished on whatever number plot, and they're going to be here tomorrow. Um, they're being very random about checking, legal status. Like, some people just walk by them, don't even ask them. Sometimes they just randomly pick someone, and you're not safe. The best I can do is here's this emergency work order to go to lot 800, but like I had to switch, the dates in it or whatever. So it's like you can only use this if you are traveling overnight on your way there and get stopped. Like that's the only time you can use it, but you have to be gone by morning and then stay away for a week or something like that. And all right, that's what we got to do. And so they just start packing up later on in the episode. They're just packing up, getting their things ready to go. And then they have to like, well, who's going to tell B2 Emo what we're doing? And Brassel's like, all right, I'll do it. And so he talks to him like, hey, you're going to stay here. You're going to stay with Talia, his girlfriend. He's like, well, look, she's nicer than me, better looking than me. Like, it's way better. She knows all your friends, like knows knows you better than me. Like, she'll take care of you. And he's not happy about it, whatever. But like,
Do you think that's the last time we see him?
no, I think Cassian will go back at some point and get B2 Emo. I think he's gonna play a bigger role in some mission or something and sacrifice his life. If B2 dies, people are gonna cry.
I really think that's the last time we'll see him.
Really? Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because like when is he gonna have time? And then we see how Cassian, like, it's gonna end. This show's gonna end with him going towards that planet to get the guy's information about the Death Star for Rogue One.
All right, but that's 3 more years of stories. So it's like he has to go. I need my droid. We'll see him again. But yeah, so they have to go, and then it goes to like them packing again, like Brasso and Bix, and he's like, "Well, where's Will?" And he's like, "She's like, I don't know. He's gone. No, his speeder's gone." And so he, had to go say bye to his girlfriend Bila. So they're having a moment, saying goodbyes, and they hug, and then she feels the blaster in his belt, and she's like, "What is this?" Like, "Oh, I need it. Don't worry about it." Blah blah blah. And then the Imperials show up right at where the bakery is, and it's like, "Crap, my speeder's over there. Like, I can't escape. Like, I can't just go on my speeder and run. They're gonna chase me." So it's like he kind of hides, and the girlfriend goes back, and they're like, "All right, we're here to inspect. Make some meals for all of us. We're ready to eat, but pack a couple meals because 2 of us were leaving, and we'll be back in an hour." And so Brasso, he gets on his speeder to go try and get Will, not realizing what's happening with Will with that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's goes to sneak in, and he gets caught. Basically, he's just trying to sneak in. He gets caught super easily. Like, come on, dude. Like, he goes into like a path without looking both ways. Like, if he just turned his head, he would have saw the trooper behind him. But whatever. But so he gets caught. While this is happening, Bix is alone at their trailer thing, and the Imperial officer that tried to go on a date with her, ask her on a date, shows up with one other guy, and he goes in and bullies her, unfortunately, and they start fighting, and she's just trying to save her life, basically, because she doesn't know what's going to happen, and she hits him in the nose, makes him bleed, and then
they have a little tussle. They
start fighting, and she grabs a tool and hits him on the head. Yeah, and just hit the crap out of his head. He's already like, he's dazed and like doesn't know what he's doing. He's trying to do whatever. And then they just start fighting more, and she hits him again and again, and he starts yelling. So the guy out in the vehicle waiting for him radios in, we need help. We got trouble going on. So then the other troopers, they start making their way to Bix, and then while this is happening, Will is running back to the place on foot, and so
And it's far.
it's far. It's way. It's like probably a mile away. It seems like because you can see it in the distance, but like it's super far, and he's a sprinting like.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that. Like, I don't care how in danger my life is. I can't run full speed like that. Like, I can jog for like
But they have to be in shape. Like,
maybe with like lifting stuff, but like running.
he
Like,
was limber. What's his name? Definitely couldn't do it.
Brasso.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like just because like you're strong physically doesn't mean you can like run. Like, I feel like a lot of people who are like bodybuilders or something,
Oh,
like
yeah,
they're
they
super
can't run
fit,
at all.
they couldn't run at all. So it's like, but whatever. So
Yeah, I can bench, but I can't run.
right. So the officer's screaming inside while he's getting hit in the head over and over again. So the other trooper, he's like tries to make his way in. The officer comes out, falls, hits his head again, falls, whatever.
Dies.
And then, you know, Bix yells out like what was happening, like he attacked me, blah blah blah. And then Will arrives and he starts shooting at the officer, the other guy. And then he's distracted, and then Bix comes out with her big gun and kills that guy. So those two are safe at this point. Brasso has been captured and brought back to like the bakery area where there's a crowd and kind of other troopers and stuff. And the guy that was kind of like there to warning him, like the dad or whatever, was like there. And I don't know, I want to know your interpretation because I interpret this as the reason he started yelling at the guy was like, he was like, you turned me in, you did this, blah blah blah. I think he was faking that accusation to like just bring attention on himself so the other people wouldn't get the
Oh,
attention wouldn't be on them.
no.
Or do you think do you think that guy actually turned him in?
100%.
But then why would he like warn them
Because
that they're coming and here's a
but
passcode to
remember,
like
he said that they're coming the next day. He didn't tell them it wasn't the right day.
but why would he even bother lying to him about that? Like if
And then he knew that his daughter was going to be hanging out with Will, so they wouldn't have got off. And that's when they showed up, is that time. He timed it perfectly.
Caleb says no way that guy turned him in. Like
I don't know.
But see, the thing is, when the guy said they're probably gonna like, he wasn't like, oh, they're for sure they're staying there. Like he was like, I'm guessing they're gonna be here tomorrow morning. So like he didn't know for sure though. So I think Brasso was making a scene so that they put all their attention on him and not at Bix's
yeah, but
thing.
if he didn't, then it would still be on him.
The other guy,
Yeah,
why?
because one, they knew exactly who they were, essentially.
Well, I
Like
think
the troopers knew.
Well, like the officer that attacked Bix was like, I already know that you're illegal. Like you're right on that. But like
And
a
then
lot of
even
people
the
were
other
illegal.
guy said that what's his name was illegal.
Brasso.
Yeah.
But like,
And then let's say that guy didn't turn them in, by him saying you turn me in, that's implying that he knows that he was bad. So if he didn't, then those troopers would know that he was hiding them.
well, yeah, but they already knew that though, because there's so many illegal. They already knew that it was filled with illegal people. Like the officer even said that. Like we know that there's a shortage of workers and
That's
there's a lot of
true.
illegal people here. Like there's this complex system that like supply and demand. I get it. He's like, I got a lot of stress on my shoulders. This is a lot to worry
That's
about.
true.
So it's like, but then like when Brasso's on the ground, he looks up at that guy again, and they kind of look at each other like they both understood what was happening in a moment. There wasn't like the guy was like, it seemed like he nodded towards him a little bit like, thank you for taking the attention off me. But I
I
don't
hope
know.
you're right. I was interpreting it the complete opposite. Like, gotcha, you're stuck now.
I don't know. It's up for interpretation. We'll never know. Like,
Yeah, we never will unless
we're never
Dave
gonna.
comes out with it or someone comes out
Yeah.
with
So
it.
it's like, unless we meet the
we're gonna meet Cassian at a con, a next
or
celebration or something.
the Brasso guy. Like
Yes.
he'll be at a panel. We'll ask him like, "Hey, so did you like falsely accuse that guy so that the attention would be on you?" But like,
And then his answer will be, "It's all an interpretation.
it's all what Disney says it is.
It's all whatever Disney is."
But I don't know. I thought it was interesting. But yeah. So during this fight, you know, whatever, like, um,
But what Cassian did brought a lot more attention to that part of the
right.
galaxy.
So what was it that caused? Because then like Brasso gets up and like runs off. Like what was that? What would cause
That was
that?
Cassian blowing up. So they all
Oh, okay.
that troop left
Yeah, that's
to
what
go get Bix.
Yeah. Okay. So the
And
TIE
then
fighter goes by,
yes,
blows up that transport that's off going towards Bix,
and
then that's a distraction. Brasso gets up, runs to his speeder, and tries to get away. Cassian circles around and tries to get all the troopers before they, you know, take out Brasso. It was I like the screen on that TIE fighter. Like
dude,
it highlights all the.
It's so legit, bro.
It's like a video game. Like it highlights all the enemies on the thing, and like.
It's like when you like play Call of Duty or whatever, and you get the rocket launcher, and it like,
right.
and then you shoot it.
Cause like this is what Star Wars technology should be, not like those like 2D lines that we still
lines,
get.
Yes. Well, we get it because that was a cool thing in the 80s.
That was the technology they had back in 1977
yeah.
or whatever. That's kind of funny.
So like that's what they have to stick with.
Yeah.
And they can just say that the Empire can't afford to make a bunch of
and this is why it's a prototype, because they realized the lines weren't working too well, so this is a prototype to like have better aiming and weapon systems. So then Cassian kills all the guys, starts flying away, but then sees that like the speeder bike is just laying in the ground in the field. So he lands and, you know, finds Brasso there, and that was super sad. And at this point, Bix and Will are on their way to the TIE fighter because like, oh, that's Cassian, that's him. We gotta get to him. And so he's there with Brasso, crying, like hugging his friend.
So one of those shots got through and hit him.
Oh yeah, because there was like
I had to rewind it because once Cassian's reaction with the rest of the crew, I was afraid that maybe he accidentally shot Bix, so I had to rewind it to make sure.
Oh,
he didn't.
No,
because I was afraid. Like that would have been so messed up. Yeah, sad. Like if he didn't realize that's what was happening.
Yep. And so then they start yelling out, Cassian, Cassian. And so then he runs up to him like, yep, we gotta go. And Bix is like, well, we gotta get Brasso. And he just looks like, nope, we gotta go. And I feel so bad for Bix. She's had like the worst life in the past year. She gets captured, tortured.
I mean, her life has always been horrible.
Oh, I don't know. They lived a simple life on Ferrex. She wasn't like, didn't hate her life. Like she was just living her life like everyone else on there. So it was average. But then she gets tortured by the Empire. She's on the run. She's having these nightmares. Then, she gets attacked by this officer. One of her best friends dies just right there, gets killed. They have to run away again. And it's just like...
She was also tortured by her other boyfriend in season 1, right?
No.
Why did I think that? Or she just didn't love him as much as she loved Cassian.
Her Tim with 2 M's who turns in Cassian. Yeah, he just was a scumbag guy, which is torture in itself, I guess.
That's what I mean. Like she was in a horrible relationship,
but it was still consensual, and she was
that's fair
on and off. It was complicated on Facebook. That's what it was. But
it was in a relationship, but not telling them who it was. They're with
anonymous. So they get into the TIE fighter and they take off. And so as this stuff is happening, this is like going back and forth with the Mon Mothma stuff, like back and forth, like with the music and stuff. And so then they just get out and go. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing 3 episodes, and I just can't believe how good this is so far.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
This is I knew it was gonna be good, but I didn't realize it was gonna be this good. Like the first
Season 1
episode,
was this good?
no, this is way better than this is way better than any of the arcs in season 1. I can tell you that right now. And I don't know, that first episode was really good. This episode, third episode was really good. Super emotional. All these storylines, I just love multiple storylines. They're all
Yeah.
separate, coming together, working together. So I think I need to like correct myself from the first episode, because we were talking about, Grace and I were talking about, when is this Gorman stuff going to happen? And like I was saying, okay, I think the third arc is when, Mon Mothma is going to start the Rebel Alliance. Like that's going to be that scene from Rebels. We're going to get an adaptation of that in arc 3. But I was thinking afterwards, like trying to line it up with Rebels. I think the way it plays out is the second arc of the season will be during the third season of Rebels. And so I think all the Gorman stuff is going to happen next week. We're going to see the Gorman massacre. And I think we're going to get that live adaptation of Mon Mothma's speech with the Rebels crew. We're going to see Hera live action, Sabine live action, Zeb, Ezra, Chopper. I think we're going to see that adaptation next week.
That would be amazing, bro.
I think that's how the timeline would have to line up. I don't think it's going to be the third arc, because then it's like a year jump, and then like that wouldn't make sense. So, but I don't know. It's kind of like not official, like how it all lines up, but it's like my planning. So I think next week it's going to be a lot of people dying. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get it next week, the Gorman stuff, or do you think it's going to be the third arc?
Bro, I didn't even think that far in.
Bro, what are you doing? You got one job. You get paid the big bucks to know this.
I just didn't think that we were going to ever get this. You think we're going to get that speech, or you think they're just going to kind of like...
They would have to, because like that's her whole story is like, after the Gorman massacre, she's like, that's the last straw. I'm done with the Senate. I'm done faking being a senator. Like, I'm quitting. I'm putting my life on the line. I'm going to call to all the rebel cells to have this Rebel Alliance together.
So did you do the math from when episode 4 would happen?
So I know, so season 1 of Andor and season 1 of Rebels is at the same time. Like, they have the same starting point. And Rebels is 4 seasons covering like 4 years, whereas
season
Andor
1
is 5.
year.
So this season, this arc today would have been year 2 of Rebels. And so arc 2 of this season would be season 3. So at season 3 is when Rebels has that scene, that episode.
Gotcha.
So I think that's how it lays out. Now that's just all approximate. Like, nothing is like the Rebels timeline isn't like specifically designed, but it's like generally a year between, like each season is a year. Then there's like a year gap between 4 and Rogue One, or a little less than a year or something like that. So like, it wouldn't make sense for the Rebel Alliance to get a stab. Like, they're not going to show like the Rebel Alliance starting. Like, they wouldn't. That's the whole point of the show, is like to show the coming together of the Rebel Alliance. And so like, I think we're going to get it. I think it'd be super cool.
I hope you're right. Be dope.
I gotta just like watch that scene and just like familiarize with myself, and then I can like watch it next week and then be like, yep, same exact lines, same exact positioning of the characters in the cockpit of the Ghost. Like, I'm super hyped.
Be dope.
But I don't know what else we're gonna get. Like, if the Gorman stuff is next week, like, what are the last 2 ones? Like, we gotta get Saw Gerrera stuff. Like, what's going on with Saw Gerrera? Is he?
I was thinking more, are we gonna get some SOG stuff?
I don't know. Like,
wouldn't we have to see? I guess he would already had Jen from last season then, right? Technically, or would she have already been gone?
They've been gone, because I think
she would have already been gone.
I think I'm trying to think what they said. It's been like 10 years or something since like she ran away or something, or
She like ran away when she was like 12, right?
I think she was 15.
Chat, help us out.
But I don't know like how old she is exactly, and so if she was like 8 or 9, when her mother gets killed, then it's been like 6 years.
You think her get her dad?
There is the rumor that we're going to see him, and
He
I
was
wouldn't doubt.
He was at Celebration, but he did not say.
So I think we might see that Bodhi guy, the pilot, interact with
or maybe in like the second to last arc.
Galen Erso, probably the last one, because that's leads right into Rogue One. So
I think the last arc is gonna be amazing, bro.
So I think we're gonna see Galen Erso and Bodhi talking to each other. Like he's gonna pass off information. Bodhi's gonna escape, and then that information is gonna go to that guy at the beginning of Rogue One that Cassian kills. Like we're gonna see that like seamlessly flow into each other in the last arc. But the third arc is like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like you got Saw Gerrera. Is it gonna be some like Saw Gerrera terrorist something? I don't know.
I don't know. We didn't think we were gonna get this, and they gave us this. So,
yep.
We know at some point he goes to that planet. Because the Empire goes there to try to take over that planet.
What planet?
The one with the spiders for the clothing planet.
Yeah, Gorman. That's next.
Yes.
Like that's next week. But I don't know. We don't know anything else. And I feel like most of the trailer that we got, at least I didn't watch the second trailer, but the first trailer, I feel like most stuff in the first trailer was.
The second trailer was pretty much a lot of the same stuff. Besides what's her name being choked. Which, honestly, we could get that in the next episode. Because she was wearing black. Right?
I don't know. Never saw it.
Well, you saw my thumbnail.
I thought she was wearing her ISB uniform.
And now I gotta look. I think she was wearing black.
Anyway, whatever. We're rambling now. But super amazing 10 out of 10 start. I can't wait to see next week. And we're going to kind of play it by ear every week on how we're going to do episodes. I know next week, for sure, Grace and I will be recording episode 1 on Wednesday morning, but it kind of all depends on how things will lay out. We might just do 2 episodes again next Wednesday night, or we might split them up Wednesday and then Saturday. So kind of playing it by ear. It's all the availability of Andrew and how long the episodes are and stuff like that. So, but we'll be back next week. And so, anything else, Drew, before we move on?
No.
All right. Well, let's transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time. It's voicemail time. All right. Well, I should mention, since this is like our fan interaction time, I forgot to mention at the beginning, our intro music was made by Pi again, who did our intro music for like our 300th episode. So he took the Andor theme and kind of made it his own. And so he sent that over to me to use. So,
thank you. Congrats.
So thank you, Pi, for that. It's awesome. But we have 3 voicemails tonight.
Ooh, small one. Andrew's off, and now it's small.
Yep. I feel like people were purposely sending voicemails in just to make it a 4 hour long, just to make me mad. I don't know.
We could have done this for this too.
Yep. But first
all
2,
the same person.
No, first 2 from Sky King. So let's take a listen to number 1.
Hey, Empire Radio, Sky King here. I haven't yet watched the 3rd episode of Andor as I'm recording this, but I know that by the time you guys record tonight, I will have watched it. So I'm just going to speak for my future self when I say those 3 episodes were awesome. I'm so glad they're releasing 3 at a time, and I cannot wait till next week. I also wanted to respond to a voicemail Darth Fart sent in a couple weeks ago when he asked what Star Wars character is addicted to death sticks and just kind of hides it really well. My first thought was Obi-Wan. And before you hate on that answer, hear me out. Have you ever seen that meme of Ben Affleck when he's like taking a smoke break, he's standing against a wall looking like he's just so done with the world. And he's just, that's Obi-Wan, like every 10 minutes with Anakin and Ahsoka during the Clone Wars, where he has to go off screen and he's just, I can't do this anymore. And he's smoking his death sticks. It explains why he aged so much too before A New Hope, because those death sticks, Also, Kit Fisto. Have you ever seen his pictures from episode 2 versus episode 3? Oofda.
Stressful time, bro.
Well, thank you, Sky King, for your answers to that question. The Obi-Wan makes a lot of sense, and yes, those pictures of Kit Fisto between movies, like the prosthetic, like makeup, whatever, like they're kind of rough. So I see what you're saying, but we'll never know.
Speaking of the third movie, are you gonna go see it?
I don't know. I never bought tickets, and are you going? Like,
I'm going tomorrow at 10 p.m.
It's already out?
Comes out tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was like
No, it comes
the next 2 weekends from now. I had no clue. I thought it was only open for like one weekend. Like
no,
Star
it's
Wars.
open for a while. I think like a month.
I don't know.
So you got time. I'm gonna go next week with Miles. That should be fun.
On when? Tuesday?
Yeah, I think so.
You should do Tuesday because you got to watch a lot of Star Wars on Wednesday. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know who I'd go with. Honestly, like, you're like the only, like, I don't have any real Star Wars fans in my life other than you.
Me. Well, we could go next weekend or something.
I don't know.
We'll figure it
Next
out.
weekend, you work.
True. We'll figure it out.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, thank you, Sky King, for number 1, but he has number 2, and he's coming at us, Drew. So he has a problem with us. So let's take a listen.
Oh Lord.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Sky King again. I was listening to your breakdown of Star Wars Celebration, and I've got a bone to pick. I, for one, will not accept the slander that is coming out of Empire Radio towards Star Wars Zero Company. I won't take it. I won't accept it. It's not okay. Respawn Entertainment, out of the grace of their hearts, is giving us a Star Wars XCOM game. I don't know if you've heard of the XCOM games, but they're one of the goats of the strategy tactics genre. And I've been playing those, and ever since I started playing those, all I've ever wanted is a Star Wars XCOM game. And Respawn, they've given us some bangers. They've given us Titanfall, Apex Legends, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Fallen Order. They make great games. They make only bangers. This game is going to be great.
Hello.
So, and it's a dream game of mine. I've always wanted it. That's like, if I could have any game, that's one of them. So, my question for you guys, if you could have like any game, any sort of dream game of yours, what would it be? Star Wars or not? Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, thank you, Sky King. Well, we're happy that you're happy about this game announcement. I hope that you get it, and it's everything you've ever dreamed of, and maybe you can, do a review for us and get us hyped up about it. I don't know. Maybe later on, whenever they come out with like an official trailer of like more gameplay stuff, maybe it will intrigue me. But those like 10 seconds of someone throwing a grenade, like, okay, I don't care. But
Yeah.
if you're into those kind of games, I'm happy for you. But
so like my brother was playing those kind of games today when I was like over there and picking up something, and he was playing like a Marvel version of it where it's like a turn-based strategy-based game.
right.
And then but you like use cards to level up your character. So it was also like a card game kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, I was talking to him about how they're making a Star Wars one, and he was super hyped about it too. And I was like watching him play this game, and I was like, it makes me even less hyped about it.
Oh no.
like that style of game is just like, I don't have time for that kind of game style. Like
Yeah,
grinding.
I'm not good at strategy things. Like,
honestly, I feel like it's so easy. Like, it's not like you have to,
No,
like, push up, down, left, right, A, B, start kind of thing. Like, it's like, all right, if I angle my throwing this, then it's going to throw this guy into a pillar. And you have to, like, just angle and, like, I don't know. It
no,
didn't
I don't got patience for that kind of thing. But
really?
yeah, Retsy in the chat knows me too well. Jeremiah's dream game would be a Sabak online card game. That's pretty. I was actually gonna be my
Didn't you say
answer.
that last week?
I said that last week, so she knows me.
Yeah.
But like a strategy game, I just can't. I don't know. I've seen them before, and it's just like I don't know. It's just like you have to like be able to play like multiple steps ahead and like know how. And I can't. It's like chess. Like I'm not good at chess because it's like I can't picture
can't-
10 steps ahead.
Gotcha.
But but yes, a Sabak online game would be super fun. I would get lost. I'd be this grown long beard and hair, not shaven for weeks or whatever, no showering. So I don't know if I want that game in reality.
I want Bounty Hunter Red Dead Redemption game.
Like Star Wars game.
Yes. As a bounty hunter, but like designed by them, like the whole thing where you can get a ship, you can decide just to go shoot banthas if you want for hours. Like you do whatever you want, but like complete open world, little quests, but they don't really like the whole concept is just do what you want when you want kind of thing. Like Grand Theft Auto, it's the same thing. Like
It would be cool if Rockstar did that level of an open world game. Like Star Wars Outlaws, yeah, so it was open world, but it was spread out between multiple planets, so it's like not as big as you'd want to be. But like a Red Dead Redemption scale, or like Horizon Zero Dawn / Forbidden West, like those are such huge maps and so like different, like everywhere on the map. Like I just want a Star Wars game like that on a single planet. But I don't know. But also just like if it was just like a third person shooter, like I prefer third person or first person games. And so like a third person shooter game where like I can have all the weapons I want and just go guns a-blazing, that'd be fun.
It's called Battlefront. Zero build.
Well, Battlefront is not coming out anytime soon. Nothing's been announced. So.
Or not Battlefront, sorry, Fortnite, zero build.
But
I'm excited for what's it next week already? The 2nd?
Yeah.
When Fortnite is whole battle pass is like the Death Star is slowly coming into the map right now. So like
fun.
Currently, and then apparently it's gonna shoot and like destroy the whole map, and it's gonna get redone. And
fun.
Dark Jar Jar and Palpatine are in the battle pass, so you have to grind to get those characters. It's gonna be sweet. I'm excited.
Fun. All right. Thank you, Sky King. Always awesome to hear from you. But last up, we have the Coup d'etat verse from Garrett. And so I think last time it was something like Empress Palpatine found something that was going to turn the tides against fighting the Resistance. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Garrett. Empress Palpatine took me to a room in the Dreadnought I have never seen before. It was closed off behind many locked doors with different codes and methods to open each one. When she opened the last door, she said, "This is what we found." As soon as the door opened, I felt a connection with something inside. I then walked through it and into a dark room with a person in the middle suspended in a containment field. The person had been very badly wounded with scars all over and missing multiple limbs. As I approached closer, the person awoke and said the words, "He's here." I'm not sure what it meant, but the voice sounded a little familiar. I'm sure Empress Palpatine will tell me who it is soon, but in the meantime, can you guess who it is? Speaking of guessing who it is, I had a fun time trying to guess who the next guest was going to be on the stage at Celebration, even if it just ended up being Ahmed Best again. I swear he was up there like 5 times. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for more Ahmed Best, but the lineup was kind of lackluster this year.
Facts.
I was, however, very happy and partially surprised to see Manny Yancito up there. He was hands down my favorite part of the Acolyte. I even heard a bunch of people chanting, "Season 2! Season 2! Season 2!" Which I'm all for it. Even though a lot of the Acolyte fundamentally destroys some of what we already know about Star Wars, I still think it deserves a second season to learn from the mistakes of the first season 1 and actually make a good show. What do you think?
All right. Well, thank you, Garrett. So who's this person that's being suspended from the ceiling?
Anakin?
I'm thinking it's Anakin because he mentioned earlier that Anakin died in the Death Star. Like good Anakin. He never turned to the dark side. He said missing multiple limbs. Well, Anakin lost all of his limbs, and so maybe. But why does he says oh, he's here, like he's been waiting for Garrett? He's like,
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's the coup d'etat verse. It could be
You
something
could say
really
with
weird.
Jar Jar.
It could be Darth Jar Jar. It could be, I don't know, actual Palpatine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But what was his question?
Acolyte, do you want another season?
If someone else continued the story,
If it was a different
different director, writer, I don't know, it left on such a huge cliffhanger, so much could happen. I still want the story to conclude, but I don't know. They'd have to make sure that they really strongly pivot on what they want to do to make it good and learn from their mistakes. But I don't know if they're ever going to do that. It's kind of like a lost cause, I feel. But I know that the Manny guy, like he mentioned, he said that it's his life goal to have the show renewed so he can continue that character because he knows what's kind of planned for the future, and he likes that story. So I wouldn't be surprised if
I liked him.
X amount of years down the road, maybe they'll try and do something, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. But if they bring it, we'll watch it. I'll be excited to watch it. But
Andrew would be pumped.
Yep. But yeah, I think was that all his questions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Garrett, and the coup d'etat verse continues, and I don't know what
So we
this guy.
should say send in voicemails by the normal deadline for voicemails. So I was wondering if maybe some people wanted to wait.
Yeah, because we originally
until
said Saturdays, but I don't know. Whatever, we'll play them whenever. So
Just
send
send
them
them
in
in by Wednesday.
by Wednesday night if it's related to the show. If we delay till Saturday to do a third episode, we'll play them then. If we do 2 episodes on Wednesday night, we'll play them then as well. But just keep in mind, voicemails, when we're going to do them, are going to vary on our schedule. So
The
if you send them in
earlier you
late,
send it in, the better.
Yep. But if you send them in late, we'll still play them the following week, regardless.
Sure.
Cool. So
I think that's
next
it.
week,
I'm excited.
Arc 2. I'm excited. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And I'm sad that once the show is done, Tony Gilroy is done with Star Wars. He said that I'm done. I'm out. His last project, he's done. Which I feel like Dave Filoni be like, hey,
no,
come on.
Here's another zero at the end of your check.
And I will say, we're not going to talk about it, but there are rumors that Kathleen Kennedy is actually stepping down in August of this year. That's been floating around. I'm just going to say that. So maybe some changes would happen, and Dave Filoni could have some influence on who's
sticking
going to
around.
be sticking around, who's pointing. Who knows? Maybe he'll have some influence to get a guy who will want Tony Gilroy to come back for another project. But who knows?
What project
All right,
would it be?
Let's get over some social media and get out of here. So if you are new or an old-time fan and you want to get connected with us even more than just listening, go in the description below, links.co/Empire Radio, links spelled 2 I's. Click that link, landing page for everything Empire Radio. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube for video versions, Twitch for live stream episodes. Join the Discord if you need a place to talk about Star Wars and hang out with people and post memes and talk about Andor and all that stuff. It's a place to be. It's a lot of fun. So join the Discord. If you want to send a voicemail yourself, there's a link there for that. There's also a link for our email. So if you want to send us an email about anything, go right ahead. We'd love to hear from you. I think that's about everything. Anything else, Drew?
No, that should be it.
All right, cool. Well, you've been listening to another Andor-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.